Okay, so we're going to be using Geogebra to make some constructions here. When you go to geogebra.org, it takes you to a screen that looks like this. After you do your construction, you are going to be sending the file and sharing it. So you're going to need to sign in and create an account. I recommend that you use your school Gmail account. So you all have a school email, their first name dot last name at River Valley. Go ahead and use your school account, and now you'll be able to save and send your work that you make. There's also different choices for Geogebra. It has graphing capabilities. We're going to be focusing on the geometry aspects of it. I prefer the Geogebra Classic. You could go straight to, there's a geometry option right here. I could just select geometry, but I prefer just to leave it in its form here that has, there's going to be graph paper and a XY axis that comes up on it. If you don't want to see those, you can right click on the screen and just deselect whatever you don't want to see. Geogebra is kind of nice. It has a little bit of an intuitive set of menu options here. If you want to do something with a point, click on this here, or maybe hover depending on what your computer does. And anything that you can construct with a point will come up here. This is your line category. If you want to make parallel lines, perpendicular lines, etc., those are over here. You can make polygons, and this is kind of a good thing. You might just want to mess around with these tools and see what you can make. We're going to start with just some basics. Say you wanted to make a line segment. You just click the endpoints of your segment. And over here on the left, it will show you what the length of that segment is and also what the coordinates would be on the XY plane. And if you use the selection tool, you can change the length on this, rotate it around. Another nice little tool you can use if you wanted to make a circle that had a radius of this length, you could go to the circle tool, select compass, and say you don't know what to do with the tool, down here below it tells you some directions. So it says select a segment or 2 points. Oh, let me get that to come back up again here. Or 2 points for radius, and then the center point. So I can select the segment that I want and then move it around and just click wherever I want the center of that circle to be. And now the circle will always have a radius of AB. So if I go back and change the length of AB, that will change the radius of my circle. Some of the other constructions we're going to be focusing on are with lines. So for example, if you wanted to make parallel lines, I'm going to start off by getting my first line. And when we say to make parallel lines, let me just show you what we are not talking about. That doesn't mean go and just eyeball, two lines that look parallel and then say, oh, there's my parallel lines. What we want are lines that can't be messed up. They should stay parallel no matter what. Like you can see, for example, right here, I can just go and move one of these and the lines are no longer parallel. So I'm just going to go back and undo here. So if I want to make a line parallel to my first line that I already made, I go back up here, select the parallel line tool, and you can see down below directions come up that say select a point and a parallel line. So what that means is I need to put a point where I want my line to pass through, and then I need to tell Geogebra, well, what line should be parallel to. And now, if I move this one, my lines will always stay parallel. Kind of think about it, you shouldn't be able to mess it up. No matter what I do, if I move this line around, it always is staying parallel. Same thing over here. Similarly, I could make perpendicular lines. You can see it says select a point and the perpendicular line. So if I want it to pass through this point and be perpendicular to line DE, I select line DE, and now that line should always stay perpendicular no matter what I do. Another handy thing in Geogebra, you can see that any point you make, it tells you its coordinates. Any line you make, it's giving you its equation. Right here, this is in standard form. Another nice thing in Geogebra, it has the calculator capabilities. So, for example, say I was finding lengths of segments. Say I had segment HI and JK and LM. Over here it's telling me the lengths of each of those segments. We have a 1.5, 2.28, etc. Now suppose I wanted to add the lengths of these three segments together. You can see that over here Geogebra has named them line L, line K, line J. So I could go to my input bar down here and tell Geogebra to add the length of whatever it's called the segment. That's how I'm going to label it. So find the length of, or the segment sum of F. Oh, you know what? I think our bars disappeared here. Let me scoot down. There we go. Okay, so if I wanted to find the length of J plus K plus L, Geogebra has now found the sum of those lengths, and this sum will change as I change the length of my segments. So it keeps up as you change any of these segments.